Welcome. Take It Up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with David Cannici, who is the VP of Global Sales Enablement at Ceridian HCM. HCM is Human Capital Management, for those who don't know the acronym. It's a big space. You guys are doing really well. And there are some really concerns right now, actually, given the pandemic, that some companies are figuring out how to help employees in this time. And I want to get your thoughts, David, on what trends are you seeing, and of course also share about sales enablement best practices and the program that you put in place at Ceridian.
Yeah, happy to, Jessica. Happy to. Lots to share. So
Yeah.
First and foremost, thanks for having me. It's great to be with you. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of different trends in this COVID-19 reality that we're all trying to work through. Obviously, right now, the number one thing that's top of mind for people is return to work and everything that goes along with that. Embedded in that, I think, is this whole concept of financial wellness. We're seeing people being laid off, being furloughed, returning to work. And so employees making the ends meet is really of heightened concern. And this is something that expands across all income levels and employment types, people who live paycheck to paycheck. One of the things that we've been really focused on is providing a way for employees to request a payout of their earned wages whenever they need it, right? The traditional way of doing payroll may be dead. I get paid on a biweekly schedule. I wait 2 weeks for my pay, and whatever happens in between, I'm on my own. So some really interesting fast facts, Jessica. Over half of US workers, around 55%, have struggled to cover their expenses between pay periods over the last 6 months. And 85% who could not make the ends meet between pay periods used a credit card or took money out of their savings or borrowed against equity. So this is a significant problem. The fact of the matter is, 2 weeks is probably too long today to wait for a paycheck. So these findings reveal how the traditional payroll cycle, as I said, is dead. So what we've done is we've produced a product called Dayforce Wallet that fundamentally changes the concept of the traditional payday, as now employees are enabled to request access to their pay as they earn it and need it, with no direct fees for the employer or the employee. It's a very big focus for us and our sales team.
Wow, I see. So they may be able to get paid on a weekly basis or even a daily pay basis.
Yeah. And even for employees that are not facing significant adversity, just the convenience in regular times for people to be able to access pay when they need it is an incredible convenience. So for adverse times, certainly it has tremendous value, but as a convenience, it does too. But we think it's a game changer, and the kind of work we do around pay is a very big focus for us, and we think it'll help people through this time.
So have you seen an increase in companies shifting to allow this frequency of paying their employees?
Yeah, we think, yes, we have, and it is one of the first things that our sellers will bring to companies as we go out there and engage with them. We're asking the questions, what kind of adversity are your employees facing right now? What are some of their difficulties? And the feedback that we're getting is that is an absolute reality that they're facing. So, being able to bring this to bear for companies as a value add to their own employees is significant. So we're hearing good things about the market's reception to this concept.
That's great. I like that. So thanks for letting us know about that.
Sure.
Let's talk about sales enablement. I know you have over 500 sales reps out there that you're trying to support, and your team may be small, but it's making a big impact to the bottom line for Ceridian. Tell us about your philosophy, your approach to sales enablement and making a difference.
Sure. So as you might have known, Jessica, a lot of my own background is in sales. I came up in sales as an individual contributor and as a sales leader. And, picture for almost the entirety of your career, you were able to rely on face-to-face interaction to do your business. And then a new reality comes and now you can't, right? So one of the biggest areas where we've had to help our sellers pivot was moving them to a virtual platform, giving them and equipping them the tools, the resources, and the experience needed to excel in that type of environment. How do you convey a value message? How do you connect with a customer in this new virtual environment? So almost immediately, my team and I really jumped in and took this on to make sure that our sellers were in the best possible position to be able to connect with our customers. And connecting with the customers didn't always mean necessarily the end game is selling a product. In a lot of cases, these connections were our consultations to help these companies with business continuity. It's about relationship building. And I think one of the things that our enablement team was able to do was to take a world-class group of sellers who were already world-class and just give them a little bit more insight into how to exist in a virtual platform.
I think a lot of people are using mobile phone nowadays to consume content, learn, and get insights, and I'm wondering, have you invested a lot in the mobility of learning?
Yes, we have, and it's a big focus item for us, Jessica. When you think about it, mobile has an application in two very different important ways. Education is one of them, and communication is the other. We all know that sellers, right, they have a very limited attention span because of the breadth of their responsibility and their day-to-day and going out and engaging with customers. So we have to meet them where they live. And the way to do that is to deliver learning in bite-sized digestible pieces. And mobile is absolutely a channel that can help with that. And it's something that we're committed to and we're bringing to them right now. If you think about it, I don't know about you, but I'm sure you'll agree with me that almost your entire life is on this phone, and I get push notifications for just about everything. And so the second piece is the communication. Sellers demand clarity of task, clear, small, digestible bits of information that they can take and run. And using mobile technology to convey key messages for trigger events and all kinds of different occurrences is a great win for them too. So we're trying to not only do a great job solidifying the traditional way of building a learning structure and a communication structure within our business, but we're trying to also incorporate mobile technology to get us to the next level. And so far, we're off to a great start.
But on the phone, it's actually hard to read. I often will choose to listen, videos, audio. So I take it that you're investing a lot in that medium.
Absolutely. So video and podcasting are two very big endeavors that you want to incorporate in your overall learning strategy. You want to diversify the user experience so that you're not killing people with death by webinar. And to your point, they're constantly having to read everything over their phone. We think it's important to have a very diverse offering for our sellers so that if they want to see best practices via video, they can do that. If they want to hear a podcast on thought leadership from a very well-respected resource, they can do that too. Or if they want to go into the traditional LMS and take content that way, it's fine. It's really learning, quote unquote, anyway. Mm-hmm. And we need to make sure as an enablement team, we provide an experience that crosses all of those different modalities. And we're off to a great start. The small team is the little engine that could, but in a very short period of time, we've been able to bring that forward for our business.
Now, it's interesting that you're actually using your own technology to do the learning part. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so when we started exploring what we could use for a learning management system, we started to immediately look inward, right? So we have Dayforce Learn, which is a product offering that we put out there. We drink our own champagne. We use Dayforce Learn as our own proprietary learning system within our organization. So every single new hire across geographies and across segments, all of our tenured contingent, which will get advanced learning as they've been here for a number of years, and now also leadership training, we'll be able to deliver all of this using Dayforce Learn. And it's great. We already have, obviously, familiarity with the product and how it works. We have internal support as it is, and we think it's great. So I think it's really nice for our sellers to be able to take in their learning and then talk about their own experience as they go out into the marketplace to talk about how great Dayforce Learn is. So that's worked well for us, and we were able to get that up and running rather quickly.
Have your customers actually used Dayforce as a sales enablement learning tool?
Yes, for the same purposes that we just mentioned. For the same purposes, they have. Dayforce has a number of great useful applications, and the Learn product is one that we're continuing to get more traction with. But again, that experience of our sellers being able to tell their story as a learner and then say, hey, here's the experience that I've had, and here's why I think it'll be a great value for your company. It's powerful. So it's very good to be able to share that.
I know you're big on culture, and you think culture is a very important aspect in your leadership. So tell us what your philosophy is in building that culture that really can make a difference.
Yeah, it's important, Jessica. Great organizations are built on talent. But if that talent isn't aligned, and if that talent doesn't have a common purpose and a common mission, sometimes it goes sideways. And in our organization, we're very fortunate. From the top down, we have leadership that is aligning people and getting everyone to buy into a common mission. Especially when you think about a COVID-19 period and the kind of chaos that can create in organizations, both large and small, having that steady hand with your leadership team to let everyone know that, hey, this is going to be okay. This is what we're doing. This is how we're going to keep it together. And these are the things that you're going to be focused on. It makes all the difference in the world. So culture in a business is extremely important. I can tell you that within my own team, you have to have a little bit of a servant's heart. We play Alfred to the sales organization's Batman, and we embrace that. But I think when everyone knows their role, when everyone is aligned and everyone is clearly working together towards a common goal, culture can make all the difference in the world. And we're proof of that. In a very, very short period of time, our organization across all departments has made amazing strides and will continue to do so as we scale. But we are a strong culture company, and it is absolutely something that I believe in.
You talk about the servant mentality. I know you have this help desk for the sales team, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
working well?
Yeah, it's we're about to launch it. We're building it and finishing it off right now. But, the idea is not only, Jessica, to be able to, address the needs of our sellers in real time. So you have a help desk, and if they have an issue with an enablement topic, a sales operations topic, or a marketing topic, we like to be able to help them in real time and get them the answers and the information they need. But the underlying motivation for doing it is also to condition our sellers. Every time we answer a question, we provide them a link, we provide them direction on where to go in the future to get this answer. You're actually conditioning the field to use the tools and resources that you've built. So it creates a dual purpose and a dual win. At the end of the day, all that matters is that our world-class selling team gets what they need to be successful. The help desk is just another piece of that puzzle. But if it triggers something in the seller's mind the next time around to say, okay, now I know where to go to get this stuff, it was very successful. So we're excited about that.
Tell us about the return on investment. I know you're tracking everything to make sure that you can measure the impact of your work. So
Yes.
Tell us, what kind of impact have you seen?
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the hardest things to do when you're in enablement is to track the impact of learning on results, right? Everyone wants to kind of plant the flag and say, well, we're winning because of me, we're winning because of this, when in fact there can be a number of different factors involved. I think some of the things we look at initially, we use the Kirkpatrick scale to kind of measure the impact of our learning and enablement to say, hey, down the road, we know that the impact of what we're going to do impacts behavior and results, right? That's level 3 and 4. Right now, we're really focused on consumption and learning, right? Are people appreciating what we're doing? Do they like what we're doing? Are we getting good feedback? Whether that's on a survey or it's direct feedback, that's important. And then, demonstrating learning. And that could be manifest in the form of, their managers telling us they're seeing an improvement in the field with the skill sets of their people. Or we put in knowledge checks to some of the modules that we have in what we're creating, and we see the lift in their performance when it comes to their knowledge checks and the assessments that we do, or the certifications that we do. Those are good leading indicators that we think later on will start to show in repetitive behavior, consistent behavior, and then ultimately results. So a year in for me with the organization and my team, we're already starting to see some really, really nice lift in those first 2 levels, with 3 and 4 right around the corner.
So you're doing very well, and you are actually hiring at a time when a lot of companies are freezing the hiring. So tell us, what are you hiring? Where are you hiring?
Yeah, so one of the things that's great about our organization is that, we're taking this time. Obviously, we're trying to be as fiscally responsible as any company right now with the current climate that we're doing business in. But what's impressive about Ceridian HCM is that they're making the investment now in our sales team, in our world-class sales organization, and in sales enablement. And as we continue to scale the business and we expand our global footprint, we're going to continue to need talented people. We're going to continue to need to build out our technology stack. And in a lot of these different global places that we're going to do business, we'll need to have boots on the ground. And so we are focused on that, making sure that we get the right talent in the right places so that not only during, but when we come out of this thing, we are very well prepared to address the needs of our customers, which is always at the center of everything we do. So very, very strong moves by our company to focus on that and make these kind of investments now.
Excellent. So that's smart. I want to say thank you so much, David, for being on the show to talk about Ceridian HCM technology and about sales enablement tips and best practices.
It was my pleasure, Jessica. So glad I could join you today.
There you have it. Take it up with Jessica Lee, David Cannici from Ceridian.